must have the crime, right?
Absolutely.
And does the crime have to be a dead body? And you just have feet, and the new one is just the feet, you know, all over them, 1 foot after another. But yes, of course there is a crime. And how do you feel about these genre conventions? Obviously, we're all very much in favor of plot, but are there any particular conventions of writing crime fiction that when you're working you say, oh, I'm not going to go there. There's something I'm definitely not going to do. Or are there particular ones that are so invaluable to you that it's like, well, I can always do this to work it out. Lisa?
You're not supposed to kill animals. And I did this in my second novel. And when my British editor, Emma Buckley, read this, she tried to save the cat, actually. She tried to make me rewrite the end to save the cat. Well, you know, and I broke several taboos in this book, and I didn't even realize, well, first I killed a cat, and I also I let my heroine be raped. And that was unusual as well, I realized afterwards. But if you're going to write a crime, you usually end up with some dead bodies. And maybe because a killing is not just the biggest crime, the biggest abuse of power that a person can do, it's also the biggest blasphemy to take on the role of God. You don't have to go to jail if you kill somebody by accident, you know. It's not the killing, it's the thought, it's the decision to grab the power of God, to rule over life and death. That's the crime. That's the crime. So that's why, if you put a killing in a book, it's a crime novel. I mean, you can't spice up a novel with a killing, you know, that is a crime novel because it takes over. It's so dark, it's so powerful.
That's interesting. You may have just hit on what actually is the true distinction between this genre and normal literary fiction. That's a fascinating point. Are there any of these observations on the conventions of the genre?
No, I'm just thinking about me also killing cats.
It is interesting, though. I had in my first novel, there was a scene where children had seen their mother's dead body, and I was asked to take it out.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
But a lot of readers telling me, loving my books, my novels, but they're telling that I can't read anything with kids. The kids are being
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. So if you're gonna write a bestseller, don't do that.
But to me, that's kind of strange, because shouldn't this be what crime fiction does?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I can't think of anything more heinous than crimes against children. And yet, here are publishers saying, whatever you do, don't harm the child. Don't make, which cuts right to what we're talking about, that it appears that people are reading these books for comfort. And so that's the hot button that really makes people uncomfortable. We don't want to see the children threatened or harmed or anything. I mean, a very good friend of mine wrote a book where there was just a child terrorized, that nothing ended up happening, but it was written so convincingly that they said, just don't do it. It's really a taboo. Don't do it.
Well, I think that in any kind of literary writing, but especially in genre writing, it is also important to challenge all these sets of rules. You have to abide by them because it's sort of a contract between you as the writer and the reader. They expect, for instance, a solution. But I also think that in order to create good fiction, you always have to challenge all the rules. You have to break them, and you have to push the limits and not stick to the formula 100%. But it's a treacherous road because you cannot deviate too far from the formula without pushing your readers away. Still, it's important to all the time create novels that expands the genre somewhat, so that at at least over time, if not each and every novel does it, over time, crime fiction isn't what it used to be.
And you have your protagonist. I'm sure she's so popular that you have people that want her to be a certain way. And does it ever bother you? Like you want to do something with her, and then the readers say, "Why did you do that? That's terrible." You know?
Yeah.
What's an example of that?
Well, you know, they think that her language is bad, that she swears too much. She doesn't swear very much anymore. I've cleaned her up a little bit. No, but I make her mean sometimes to her colleagues. She's not nice. She's not a nice person. She's not a heroine. She's anti-heroine. And I'm going to keep her that way. But it bothers people, and it's bothered movie producers that's come up to me, you know, and wanted to buy the rights to do the films. And I had one really hotshot guy saying to me, you know, we have to, you know, we're going to do this, but we have to clean her up, you know, she can't behave like this. We're going to make her a housewife. So, yeah, she bothers people, and that pleases me.
But actually, when I was making up my own hero, his name is Liza, I was doing that after reading 9 novels of Eddie Muller, as many of you probably know, and and to all these books, I wanted so much that Kurt Wallander should have a good life, that he should keep up with his father, his ex-wife, behave good to his chief. So everything I wanted for Kurt Wallander, I made for my hero. But I was tired of reading about all these people that were waking up in the morning with scratching their beer, drinking their beer, whiskey.
Yes. You're getting into familiar territory.
Like your guys. But I wanted to make a policeman as a hero in my novels that were more like the policeman I know from my work, from my everyday living. So he's kind of boring.
but very interesting. I mean, the book felt really like a police procedural.
Yeah,
it's like, wow. And that's kind of daring in a way.
But, you know, when you're having a discussion about Egeland, she is an engine to the novel. Besides the plot, there are like 2 engines in this novel. The readers, they want to know what's going on with Egeland, and then there's the plot. And my main engine is the plot. And the plot has to be bigger. It has to be a bigger mystery, so the readers won't be bored.
It's funny now when you started talking about the getting up and drinking and scratching on. I mean, this is my thing that I cannot stand anymore in crime fiction. I mean, that male private eye hero who listens to jazz and drinks single malt scotch and lives alone. I mean, oh God, am I tired?
That's why I intended it.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when I was reviewing crime fiction for the Chronicle a few years ago, I reviewed this one book, and it was like, as soon as the female character was introduced, right, I said, okay, 12 pages, and this guy is in bed with her. 12 pages.